Welcome, class. Settle down, grab your dice, and open your notebooks. I'm your host, and as your enthusiastic explainer and guide, I am absolutely thrilled to take you back to the classroom today. We're diving into a masterclass straight from the advanced 5th edition bonus chapter. It's a comprehensive guide to better roleplay. Today, we're studying the source material exactly as it's written, concept by concept, because every single word here is a crucial tool for your next campaign. This explainer covers 25 essential player tips sequentially from A to Z across 5 distinct chapters. We'll be looking at 1. The player's true collaboration. 2. Character limits and combat prep. 3. Etiquette, scars, and cleaning up. 4. Immersion and tactical creativity. And finally, 5. Spells, teamwork, and mundane gear. Let's get our foundational text open.
Okay, let's dive into Chapter 1, the player's true collaboration. Bringing the game to life.
Oftentimes, we as players can totally take for granted the massive amount of work that the DM puts into the game. We just don't spend enough time thinking about what we can bring to the table. D&D and role-playing games in general are group storytelling experiences. This means, just like the DM, there's a lot of prep you can do to help bring the game to life. Now, character creation is often considered the biggest part of a player's collaboration, but that is far from the truth. Literally everything you do, both in-game and out-of-game, adds to this wonderful experience. So in this chapter, we're going over guidance, tools, and techniques to help you become way more engaged in the world you're helping to create.
Moving right along to Chapter 2, Character Limits and Combat Prep, Accepting Rules and Gearing Up.
First up, let's talk about accepting limits. So, you've joined a new group. You don't know anything about the campaign yet, but you've already got your character concept locked in. Race, class, alignment, rolled stats. You've even been looking over the latest Unearthed Arcana. You're so excited. But then, at Session 0, you hear the terrible news. Your choices aren't allowed. Maybe you can't play a Warforged. Maybe the group is using point buy instead of rolling stats. Or maybe it's a low magic campaign and your spellcasting class is banned. Well, chill out for a moment. Talk to the Dungeon Master and find out why they're restricting options. They might be running a homebrew setting where certain races are exceedingly rare, or maybe they're concerned about balancing encounters around a specific spell. Dungeon Masters are people too. Try to talk to them, explain why you wanted that option, and see if you can compromise. If the limits stay in place, you just have to accept it without holding a grudge. They have a lot on their plate, so respect their wishes and make the best of it. Next, bring several weapons. 5th edition does a great job giving enemies specific resistances and weaknesses. Oozes are immune to slashing, skeletons are weak to bludgeoning, and lycanthropes are immune to anything not silvered. How do you keep up? Simple. Bring spare weapons. Keep a warhammer or dagger handy alongside your main sword for different damage types. A silvered axe lets you deal with a werewolf without sacrificing your ancestral blade. Plus, if you or an ally gets disarmed, you can literally toss them a spare and get right back into the fight. And finally, create your own command words. Instead of just saying, I draw my flaming sword, think of things like, Sword of Omens, give me sight beyond sight, or by the power of Grayskull. Magic item activation is too often a complete afterthought. Creating a memorable command word, like shouting Brizinger when you draw your weapon, evokes so much more emotion and excitement.
Next rule. Don't be blind to those around you. Remember, there are other people at the table. Don't hog space, don't ignore others, and be considerate. This absolutely applies to your in-game descriptions too. Ask yourself, if there was a blind player at the table, would they be able to follow what you're doing based on your description, or are you assuming everyone just knows? You're not the only player at the table, so don't act like it. Also, form party tactics. United we stand, divided we fall is incredibly true in combat. We've all had those messy battles where everyone does their own thing and nothing gets done. Instead, try working together to combine abilities. If the rogue throws a canister of oil at an enemy, have the sorcerer follow up with a firebolt to light them on fire for ongoing damage. Have the fighter lure enemies into a cluster so the wizard can optimize a fireball. Even having the ranger ready an arrow while the cleric opens the door can be strikingly effective.
Now, I need everyone to listen to me very carefully on this next one. Don't cheat. Dungeons & Dragons is a collaborative storytelling game, but it's also a game with a lot of rules. Without those rules, it's basically just make-believe with zero stakes. If you cheat, what you're essentially telling the table is, my fun is more important than yours. Don't fudge your die rolls. Don't lie about your hit points or your spell slots. Don't cast spells you didn't prepare. It might be fun for you right now, but it won't be fun for anyone else. If you didn't want to play a game where you might lose, you should play a different game. Period.
All right, moving on to Chapter 3, Etiquette, Scars, and Cleaning Up, adding depth and being respectful.
Let's flesh out those character sheets. First, give your character hobbies. You know their profession and traits, but what do they do when they aren't fighting? You're playing an RPG because gaming is your hobby, so your character should have one too. Maybe it's a gaming set from the Soldier background, marked cards from the Charlatan, or just simple things like going for walks or throwing stones. It makes them feel like a real person and ties into your skills. Second, give your character relatives. Seriously, we've all seen the loner orphan with no earthly connections trope a million times. It's so unoriginal. Give them living parents or a sibling who has strong feelings about your adventuring career. Even a strong connection to an old employer or a friendly vagabond works. Players usually pick orphans because it removes weak points the DM can exploit, but that also cuts you off from easy plot hooks. If you have family in a nearby port city, you instantly have an in when you travel there. Third, give your character scars. A scar is a permanent record of a past life-or-death battle. Tie it to your background. Did you get it fighting a powerful foe? In prison for a justified or unjustified crime? Or escaping from servitude as a slave? The first time you set up camp, you can turn off the lights and tell the party exactly how you got it. Scars prove there is more to your character than just the present moment.
Next up, heed warnings. Abandon hope, all ye who enter here. Players notoriously ignore these in-game warnings. When someone in town stresses how vicious a local dragon is, it's easy to assume the DM is only throwing perfectly balanced encounters at you. But sometimes, those tales are pure world building. The Dungeon Master's Guide actually recommends including encounters that are too powerful for the party. If you ignore multiple warnings of danger and die, you have nobody to blame but yourself. Add on a practical note, help clean up. Running a game is a ton of work, and whoever is hosting put a lot of effort into getting their home ready. It is the literal least you can do to stick around, gather dice, clear off the battle mat, recycle your soda cans, and clear up the mess. Be a good player and respect your host.
Now, what's really interesting about this next slide is Chapter 4, Immersion and Tactical Creativity, Thinking Outside the Character Sheet. You have to immerse your character. Is your character a person who actually lived in this world their entire life? Work with your DM before or during the first session to build connections. Have you met that important NPC before? Have you been to this location? How do you feel about the organization involved in the plot? Saving people you actually care about is way more satisfying than saving random strangers. Use the world your DM spent so much time creating. And in combat, you must improvise. It's easy to fall into a routine where it feels like the written rules are all there is, but tabletop RPGs offer so much more. Your DM will adjudicate almost anything within reason. Did a fight break out at a noble's gala? Ask to cut a rope and drop a chandelier on your enemies. Bad guys climbing a ladder? Kick it over. Assassins drop into your camp? Grab the pot off the fire, splash hot stew in one enemy's face, and grapple the other right into the flames. You'll never know if you don't ask, so exercise your brain.
Let's talk about the age-old debate, role-playing versus role-playing. Stealth, guile, and storytelling versus combat mechanics, breaking down doors and cracking skulls. Listen, this divide only exists because people haven't realized that no single playstyle is universally best or worse. Some prefer roleplay, some prefer mechanics. Is variety a bad thing? Absolutely not. If everyone has the same skills and viewpoints, it's just an echo chamber. But if one player excels at roleplay and another at combat, both can learn from each other. There is no better or worse, just different.
Make it a fair fight. Imagine battling on the edge of a cliff against a flock of flying harpies or rocks. It's tempting to just stand your ground and ready an attack for when they swoop in. But wait, evaluate the situation. They have the advantage of flight, and you're getting pushed toward the edge. Don't just aim for center mass. Fight to eliminate their advantage. Grapple those flying opponents to keep them grounded, or spend a turn repositioning the party so the enemies are between you and the cliff. Fight for every advantage. Also, please, name your attacks. Crane kick, triple sun stance. Combat gets so boring when it devolves into, I attack, 12 damage. You could be doing literally anything, so come up with cool names and descriptions. If you take a flowing two-handed stance, sweeping in wide arcs to fend off multiple opponents, call that wind stance. It sounds incredibly cool, immerses your fellow players, and even gives you an easy shorthand at the table. People in town might even start recognizing you as the master of the wind stance.
Now, master that sling. Do you think rocks are dumb projectiles? You might be right. So let's look at this table and try firing other objects. You can launch caltrips or ball bearings to instantly create an area hazard. You can fire flasks of oil, alchemist fire, or Molotov cocktails for fire damage and ignition. And for pure surprise or intimidation, how about launching a wasp nest, or even an enemy's decapitated head? Anything is an improvised weapon if you try hard enough.
We have made it to our final chapter.
Chapter 5, Spells, Teamwork, and Mundane Gear. Efficiency at the table.
Rule 1 here. Play well with others. D&D is a group game. Everyone carved out time in their busy schedule to be here, so make sure your character is willing to work with the group. Alignments aside, just because you butt heads on issues doesn't mean you can't cooperate. Make the conflict lead to more content. And please, don't play a loner who refuses to join the party. If you insist on doing things by yourself, you force the DM to split their attention between you and everyone else. That's not cool. If your character won't join the group, set that sheet aside and roll a new one. And remember, role-playing is action. Your traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws mean absolutely nothing if they just sit as notes on a page. Show us. Instead of just telling us your character is brave and loyal, demonstrate it by running in to rescue an ally even when it puts you in danger. You'll know how well you're role-playing by how other people describe your character. Next up, print out your spells. Looking up spells with multiple paragraphs of rules slows combat down to a crawl. Let's do some prep work to fix that. Step 1. Buy a pack of spell cards for your class and make a small pile of just the spells you've prepared for the day. Step 2. If you don't want to buy them, just write or print your prepared spells on some cardstock or paper. Step 3. Use smartphone apps to take screen caps and print them out. Having the exact text right in the palm of your hand speeds up the game tremendously. Do this for key points, magic items, and feats too.
Now show your appreciation. The Dungeon Master shoulders the vast majority of the work to make the game fun. Thank your DM after the session. Applaud a player's good character voice. Bring snacks to share, and don't be late. Even writing a small personal note to the DM or a player thanking them for a great moment makes a massive impact. Also, when someone else is talking, listen. Getting interrupted is awful, especially when the DM is setting up a scene. If everyone is stepping on each other's words, it just takes longer to get things done. Listen before talking, or you might completely miss that the villain the DM is describing looks exactly like the captain of the ship you were just on.
Let's speed up your turn. Long turns are the biggest factor in slow combat. Here are 4 actionable steps. 1. Be quick and concise. Don't take 10 minutes explaining what you're doing. 2. Roll your attack and damage dice together. If you hit, you instantly know the damage. If you have multiple attacks, use different colored dice sets and roll them all at once. 3. Plan out your turn before it arrives. Have the spellbook open and the dice ready. And 4. Set up a default action. If your turn starts and you really can't decide, just use your default, like attacking the nearest foe or casting a cantrip. Don't make the table wait for you.
Finally, let's talk about that adventuring kit. Use your mundane items. Let's reference this table for some incredibly practical uses. Hempen robe isn't just for climbing. Tie up enemies, hold doors, or prevent the party from separating in the dark. A crowbar gives you advantage on strength checks to break things, and it's a handy improvised weapon. A flask of oil lights fires, but more brilliantly, it oils squeaky door hinges so you don't alert the dungeon. Drop ball bearings to stop pursuers or test for secret trapdoors. Use holy water to damage fiends or sprinkle it on a corpse ahead of time to keep it from rising. And pitons, great for climbing handholds, wedging doors shut, or throwing in a pinch.
And our very last tip, who's carrying what? Even if your DM hates encumbrance bookkeeping, you absolutely need to know who is physically holding the bag of holding, how did you dole out those 5 potions of healing, who is transporting the chest with 5,000 gold pieces. When the party gets split up or you urgently need a specific potion in combat, you cannot just assume you have access to the communal party stash. Track who is holding what.
And that, my friends, is how you become a truly legendary player at any table. You have the exact concepts, the precise strategies, and the comprehensive masterclass laid out before you. It's time to pack up your notebooks, but before I dismiss the class, I leave you with this one final thought. With all 25 tools now safely tucked away in your inventory, how will you elevate your roleplay at your next session? Dismissed and happy adventuring.